G'day guys, welcome to my RX Victor video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about NRL Round 7 recap preview for Anzac round for 2021. Guys, let's get started. So starting off with this first game of this match, we see the Panthers going up against the Knights now. In this game, what I did think about this match, the Knights were alright, they were good in defence, attacking was pretty much a bit poor, it was pretty much alright by the Knights, they were playing really well, but the Panthers would just keep on firing up, with obviously Dylan Edwards and I think Apasai Carousel coming back, but I'm not too sure if it was Apasai Carousel that was coming back into that squad, but Dylan Edwards was obviously named on the fullback squad for number 21 for that jersey. But it was 24 points to 6 anyway, and I was vlogging at that game, so do go and check that out in that game, Panthers vs Knights. I was there at that game to obviously vlog that match. But this one was pretty much a very sellout crowd. I don't think it was a sellout crowd, it was just an alright game to start with, but a pretty much average game of football. But the Panthers though, they just keep winning. I just cannot believe this. They just keep on scoring after tries, but they were just firing up every single time. They keep winning every single time they play that game, or any type of game. But anyway, the only try that basically scored from the Newcastle Knights was Stafford Toa, number 2. And for the Panthers tries, what we have here is Stephen Crichton, Matt Burton, Dylan Edwards and Brian Totlo. And my player of the game, certainly every single time I see this guy play, he just kicks every single goal and basically tries to win every single game, but he just doesn't miss, he just always gets the job done. And yeah, so my player of the game for number 7 from the Penrith Panthers, Nathan Cleary. The next game of that match, we see the Titans going up against the Rabbitohs. Now, in this game, what I did think about this match certainly was a really good game. I didn't think the Rabbitohs were going to come out firing in this game, and certainly they were. Obviously, they did. And by me, though, I wasn't expecting the scoreline to be a very good game. 40 points to 30. This one was a very surprising game of football. And I didn't think that they were going to win this game, and obviously they just put in the hard work, but in the first half the Titans were coming up firing in that game with 3 tries going to David Fafita in that game. He just made a really good game of himself, and yeah, credit to him. But the Rabbitohs in the second half, they were just absolutely coming out firing in that game and obviously making some points and wanted to win, but they obviously did. But in that game, I just didn't think that the Titans were just gonna not come out firing in that game and obviously win that game of football. But I just didn't think in this game though that the Titans were gonna win in that game. Anyway, let's have a look at the Titans tries. What we have here is David Fafita that scored 3 tries, Jamal Fogarty and Tyrone Peachy. Let's have a look at the Rabbitohs tries. What we have here is Jackson Paulo, Cody Walker, Dane Gagai, Benji Marshall that scored 2 tries, and Alex Johnston. My player of the game most certainly went to, I think, number 12 or number 11 from the Titans, David Fafita, that scored 3 tries in that game. Credit to him, credit to the Titans, and credit to the Rabbitohs for a really good game anyway. But yeah, 40 points to 30 for that scoreline. The next game of that match, we see the Eels going up against the Broncos. Now, in this game, I didn't think another one was going to be so surprising. I didn't think in this game that it was going to certainly be a very high-scoring game. 46 points to 6 in that game was absolutely spectacular. At TIO Stadium in Darwin, this game was certainly on point, And I didn't think in this game that the Parramatta Eels were going to come out firing in this game. I just thought the Broncos were going to put their heart out, absolutely thrashing the Eels, but it was opposite. It was the other way around. It was Eels beating the Broncos 46-6. That game was absolutely spectacular to watch. And certainly for entertainers, he would have been loving this game and obviously cheering on the boys anyway for me and him for our favourite team and favourite club. So the only try that basically scored in that game was for the Broncos is Tavita Pengai Jr. Let's have a look at the Eels tries. What we have here is Michael Severlo, they scored 3 tries. Isaiah Papali'i, Oregon Kafusi, Tom Opacek, Bryce Cartwright and Clint Gutherson. And my player of the game went to number 2 from the Parramatta Eels, Michael Sevo, scoring 3 tries in that game. Certainly just put on a great performance, and I just didn't think that he was going to absolutely electrify the Broncos in that game, and he just really put on a great performance in that match. And I didn't think in this game though that I didn't think in that game that the Broncos were going to win, and I feel so sorry for the Broncos because I know they're having a hard time with the roster and the players anyway. So yeah, credit to the Eels for making a really good win, and 46 points to 6 was that scoreline anyway. The next game of that match, we see the Sharks going up against the Bulldogs. Now, in this game, another spectacular performance by the Bulldogs that just turned up in that game and put on a really good performance. This was an upset game in this match. I took the Sharks, but 18 points to 12 in that game, with Mawini Hiroti declining the tries of 6 times in that game. If they would have scored more, the Sharks would have won that game, and so on and so on, but unfortunately they didn't. So it was pretty an average game of football, and I just didn't think in this game, though I reckon that they would have pretty much did a great performance in that game. But the Bulldogs, though, they are working really hard, but still they are the Wooden Spooners sitting on 16th on the ladder in that game. But anyway, let's have a look at the Sharks' tries. What we have here is Blake Brayley and Mawini Hiroti. Let's have a look at the Bulldogs' tries. What we have here is William Hopewate, Nick Kotrick, and Nick Maney. And my player of the game, let's just change this. I was going to go for Nick Kotrick, but I'm just going to say I'm going to go for number 7 from the Sharks in this game. And I'm going to go with Chad Townsend in that match for really scoring me points for the Supercoach. And I just didn't think in this game that certainly he was going to put on a great performance. But unlucky though, just didn't really electrify the Sharks. But I just think my player of the game was certainly Chad Townsend. I was going to go for Nick Kotrick, but just thought Chad Townsend was a really good player anyway, and I just thought he'd really stand up in that game and really put on a great performance in that match. But yeah, credit to the Bulldogs for making a really good win against the Sharks anyway, 18 points to 12. The next game of that match, we see the Cowboys going up against the Raiders. Now, in this game though, what I do think about the Cowboys, they were playing shocking in the first half, but then the Raiders were coming out firing in the first half. I don't know how the hell, though, this one was an upset in this game. And I didn't think in this game that the Cowboys were going to cause an upset. 26 points to 24, and the Cowboys only won by 2 points in that game. And most certainly, I didn't think that the Raiders were going to win in that game, but it was going to be a hard match. But certainly, for the Cowboys, they were just coming out firing in this game, and most certainly put on a great performance in that match. But in this game, though, I did think in that match, most certainly the Raiders were come out firing in that game, but then the Cowboys turned things around and put on a great performance in that match to cause a really bad and good upset in that game. But let's have a look at the Raiders' tries. What we have here is Jordan Rapana that scored 2 tries in that game, Emery Gula and George Williams. Let's have a look at the Cowboys' tries. What we have here is Kyle Felt, Ben Condon, Reece Robson and Justin O'Neill. And my player of the game, most certainly, I think it was either number 2 or number 5. I cannot think sometimes due to a bad memory. But most certainly from the Raiders, Jordan Rapana, my player of the game. And he just, every time he plays for the Raiders, he just puts on a great performance. And scoring 2 tries in that game most certainly was putting in that hard effort to obviously make a win for the Raiders, but credit to the Cowboys for making a really good win anyway against the Raiders by 2 points, 26-24. The next game of that match, we see the West Tigers going up against the Manly Sea Eagles. Now, in this game, though, the Manly Sea Eagles, but the West Tigers, this game was certainly another upset, and I didn't think the Manly Sea Eagles were going to win in that game. But certainly they did. 40 points to 6 in that game. And most certainly I didn't think in that match that it was going to be a really difficult performance by them. And the West Tigers, though, they were just being poor, and I just felt so sorry for them because I thought you guys were going to win, but unfortunately you guys didn't. So it was 40 points to 6 anyway, and I didn't think the Manly Sea Eagles were going to win in that match. And most certainly, I didn't think the Manly Sea Eagles were going to win in that game. But in this match, though, the Manly Sea Eagles were putting on a great performance, and Kieran Foran and Daly Cherry Evans, both of their players were absolutely great and woeful, and I just didn't think in this game that they were going to put on a great performance, and they obviously did. But the only try that basically scored for the West Tigers was Luciano Leilua. Let's have a look at his Manly Sea Eagles tries. What we have here is Daly Cherry Evans that scored 2 tries, Martin Tapau, Tom Travojevic, Ruben Garrick, Jason Saab and Kieran Foran. And my player of the game most certainly went to number 7 from the Manly Sea Eagles, Daly Cherry Evans. I think he had a wonderful game. Really put on try assists, really scoring 2 tries and put on a great performance for the Manly Sea Eagles, and credit to him for making a really good effort to basically build up the scoreline in that game to put on a great performance in that match against the West Tigers. But anyway, credit to the Manly Sea Eagles for making a really good win against the West Tigers, 40 points to 6. The next game of that match, we see the Roosters going up against the Dragons. Now, in this game, what I think about this match, the Dragons were really doing good in that game, and most certainly I just didn't think in this game the Dragons were really woeful and put on a great performance, but I just didn't think in this game, though, the Dragons were going to be a really good team to beat the Roosters. But unfortunately, though, this number, I think it was either number 6 or number 7, but most certainly Sam Walker from the Sydney Roosters just killed it out there, and with the passes and the great performances and leading to points and tries and stuff and getting his own try, absolutely spectacular player from him, and credit to him anyway. And I just liked how the way that he just put on a great performance for the Sydney Roosters. And most certainly, though, it was the scoreline of 34 points to 10 in that game, and I just didn't think the Roosters were going to win in that match. And most certainly in that game, I reckon the Roosters, they were absolutely really good in that game. And what I did think in this game, the Roosters were really putting on a great performance and coming out firing in that game. But anyway, let's have a look at the Dragons' tries. What we have here is Tarek Sims and Mikhaili Rabalawa. Oh yeah, and by the way, 2 sin bins went to John Ferreira and Mikhaili Rabalawa anyway. But let's have a look at the Roosters' tries. What we have here is Daniel Tupou, Satili Tupanua, Nat Butcher, Sam Walker, Lindsay Collins, and Joseph Manu. And my player of the game most certainly went to number 7 from the Sydney Roosters, Sam Walker. And finally, the next game of this match, we see the Storm going up against the Warriors. Now, in this game, another good performance by the Storm, but averagely since Reece Walsh debuted in that game, obviously put on a great performance in that match. Most certainly, though, what I do think about this game is the Warriors, they are a really good team, but just going up against the world-class performance of this team, the Melbourne Storm, I just reckon in this game that the Melbourne Storm were going to really put on a great performance in this match, and most certainly the Warriors were just alright in that game, but just didn't really lack opportunities for scoring more tries and obviously putting on a great performance in that game. But it was 42 points to 20 for that scoreline anyway, and this game was certainly for the Storm in that match, because the Storm were pretty much a really good team anyway, and I just reckon that they obviously put on a great performance in that game. But anyway, let's have a look at the Warriors' tries. So what we have here is Kemba Marlowe that scored 3 tries, and Ben Murdoch-Masila. Let's have a look at the Storm tries. What we have here is George Jennings, Felice Kafusi, Nico Hines, Remus Smith that scored 2 tries, Justin Olin and Josh Adokar that scored 2 tries. And my player of the game most certainly went to number 7 from the Melbourne Storm, Jerome Hughes. I think he had a wonderful game, really put on a great performance, and obviously got me so much points in the Supercoach, and I didn't think that he was going to be playing a really spectacular game, and he obviously did. So well done from him. Credit to the Storm and credit to him. I just think he had a wonderful performance, and so did the Melbourne Storm, putting on a great performance, 42 points to 20 for that scoreline anyway. Thanks guys for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more. I'll be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also, I'll be doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Plus, leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this video. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care, guys. Stay safe and have a good one. Plus, let's get up to 300 subscribers. So we're sitting on 209 anyway. So let's get up to that. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.